Everybody ready?
Yep.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'd like to call the regular meeting for the Clearlake City Council here at the City Council Chambers located at 14050 Olympic Drive in Clearlake, California. Tonight is January 5th, 2023. It is 6 p.m., and this is our first meeting of this calendar year. Thank you, Melissa. Meeting procedures, I just like to let everyone know that we will be presenting this meeting on Zoom and on the internet. Citizens wishing to introduce any written material into the record during this public meeting are welcome to do so, but they do need to provide a written copy to our city clerk. Any comments will be held to 3 minutes. And any item that is on the agenda, please hold your comments for that item until it is called. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Slotin.
Here.
Councilmember Overton.
Here.
Councilmember Kramer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Claffey.
Here.
And Mayor Purdock.
Here. Chief Hobbs, would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you wouldn't mind remaining standing, I would like to request a moment of silence, particularly on tonight, and I'd like you to think of all the people that volunteer their time that are here with us tonight and those who have passed and moved on, for the many great things that they've done just for our city, for our state, and for our country. Thank you all very much. Mr. Fleur, any changes to the agenda?
No, Mr. Mayor.
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Councilmember Slutin and a second by Councilmember Kramer. All those in favor, let's refresh our voting. Aye. There we go.
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is presentations. This is a time when we can recognize people for the work that they've done. And our first presentation is a proclamation in remembrance of retired Judge Freeborn. And if you'd like, I'd like to invite the council to come down and join me at the podium. You guys can stand here. I just want to look at Mrs. Freeborn while I read this and all her friends and the judge's good friends who came here tonight to remember him. So with this, I'd like to read this proclamation. Remembering Judge Richard Freeborn. Whereas retired Judge Richard Freeborn was born in Oakland on May 3rd, 1938, to Edna and Walter Freeborn, who moved to Lake County when he was at the age of 7. I believe they went to Upper Lake. Whereas after marrying the love of his life, Kathy, on March 16, 1963, and being admitted into the State Bar of California in 1965, Judge Freeborn began working for the Lake County District Attorney's Office as a law clerk. And whereas in 1967, Judge and Mrs. Freeborn moved to Clearlake, where he was appointed the Clearlake Highlands Justice, the Justice Court, at only 28 years old, which is pretty young for that appointment. Whereas Judge Freeborn became the Lake County Superior Court Judge in 1998 through 2001 when he retired. Whereas Judge Freeborn was an advocate for the city of Clearlake, he formed a weekly Thursday morning breakfast group, commonly known as the Judge's Breakfast, and he did that in 1993, where community members could gather and discuss current events, relevant topics related to Clearlake and Lake County. Whereas Judge Freeborn was also active in the local Boy Scout troop, Troop 44, and a mentor to many Boy Scouts and a few Eagle Scouts that he helped along the way. Whereas Judge Freeborn passed away on September 30th, 2022, with his wife Kathy, his sons Andrew, Matthew, and Jason by his side. Let it be proclaimed that Judge Richard Freeborn was well-respected, thoughtful, innovative, and a devoted leader in Clearlake and the Lake County communities. He devoted his professional and personal life to bettering the lives of those in our community with fairness, kindness, and grace. Judge Freeborn will be dearly missed, but his legacy will live on in the lives of those that he touched throughout his distinguished career and his unwavering devotion to public service. Signed by the City Council.
Sorry I didn't get up on my phone.
You're fine. Would you even like to say anything more?
You want something?
I have a habit of embarrassing and calling out people when they're not expecting it, but Mark Cooper was one of Dick's best friends. All of us, I think, were good friends of Dick's. But you had a special relationship, and if you'd like to say a few words, I think that would be appropriate. Please.
Believe it or not, I thought you might do that.
Really?
Yeah. So I have just a quick little story to tell, and it might sound like it's all about me, but it isn't. It's about my daughter, Jacqueline Snyder. She had a role model, and that she did a debate in the 8th grade, got help by Richard Freeborn for that debate. She learned how to speak. Now, she had 2 older brothers, and they never, ever won an argument with Jacqueline. Well, lo and behold, you know what she became? An attorney, used the mouth to make her living. And what Dick did, and this is the story, is he opened up this chamber, put on his robes and stood up there, and he's the one that brought Jacqueline into the bar with those same 2 boys that could never win an argument present. So that's the quick story, and it was the role model that he had, that he was for not just my daughter, but the Boy Scout troop, when I was involved with them, had 55 boys in it. I can't tell you how many others before that. This is an Eagle Scout right here. His influence just permeated this city. So that's it.
Thank you very much, Mark. Dick also volunteered for many, many years with the Lakeshore Fire Department, then became the Lake County Fire Department. He was truly a community service junkie, as you like to call all of us. And I know that everyone in this room probably has a story or a little quip or something that they could share, but unfortunately we don't have that time. But someday I hope we might be able to do a little memorial for Dick, and we can share him there.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do one in March, close to our 60th wedding anniversary date.
Perfect, thank you. Kathy just said she's hoping to do something in March around their wedding date anniversary. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you all, everyone, for coming, being a part of this. Thank you, guys. Next on our agenda for presentations is recognizing our city employee volunteers and our employees for their years of service. Chief Hobbs, would you like to meet me down here? I'm going to do this again. You're welcome to have the mic. I know you'd like to address your team. Please.
Good evening. I just want to say a few words in recognition of our volunteers. Unfortunately, many couldn't be here tonight. A lot of them didn't want to come out in the weather, being dark, rainy, stuff like that. And then some just didn't want to come down and get recognition for doing volunteer work. Our police volunteers dedicate their time and energy to help make Clear Lake a better place and provide a greatly appreciated service to the community. Whether the individuals volunteer in the office, in the field, or making telephone calls from their home, they are an essential part of our police department. On behalf of the department, I want to thank all of you for everything you do for the department and the community. If we could get our volunteers to come on up. We have several here tonight. We have Chaplain Elizabeth Kelly. We have Ross Bartow, John Gwynn, Tara Gwynn, and Johnny Burr. These folks do a lot of things at the police department, help out doing things around the office, getting rid of paperwork, shredding paperwork, traffic control, crime scene security. There's many, many things they do, helping out to free up time from the paid employees to make their job a little easier so they can be out there in the field doing other things. So we definitely greatly appreciate the help you guys give us, and we're very happy that you guys volunteer for us.
No, you can't go. Stay right there for just a minute longer. Truly humble. You know, they didn't want to be recognized, several of them. I mean, some didn't want to come just because they just want to serve and they want to help their community. But now I'm going to put my fiscal hat on. The money that these volunteers save and the money that has been saved by the city through volunteerism over the years has been astronomical. Working the counters in our admin side, of course, working at the police department with code enforcement and doing traffic control over the years since the city incorporated is really something to be proud of. I would like to, if you don't mind, Chief, can I just read the names of those being recognized tonight, even those who are not here? So we have, and I'm hopefully pronouncing this correctly, Tara Gwynn, John Gwynn. Why don't you come up and I'll hand these to the chief. So Tara first and then John.
Thank you.
Thank you both very much. Mike Mello, also a volunteer for us. And of course, Ross Bartow. Ross? I put these in order, so this is messing me up, but that's okay. I think that's Ross's. That should be Mike's. Here's Dorothy Turner, also a volunteer. And Chief's going to present these to our volunteers the next time he sees them. Then we have Johnny Burr. Thank you, Johnny. Gary Logatetta. Bunny Carter. Marty Foltz. Carol Massini, did I say that correct? Okay. And then, last but certainly not least, our chaplain, Elizabeth Kelly.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you all very much for your service. And next, I'd like to call up our paid staff. We'll recognize them for years of service here to the city of Clear Lake. So first up, for 5 years, Officer Brittany Shores. Welcome, congratulations. Sure. Would you like me to hand that to her?
I was going to say a couple things.
Oh, please.
We just want to thank Brittany for her service to the city. She's been with us for a little over 5 years. She's done several assignments while she's here. We greatly appreciate the work she does, and we're happy she's decided to stay here for this amount of time.
Also for 5 years.
Yeah, Jan.
And call Jan.
Jan, could you come on up, please?
Hi, Jan.
This is Jan. She's been with us for over 5 years also. She initially started off on the City Hall side with code enforcement, and then several years ago when code enforcement transferred over to the police department, she came over to our side to work with us. She does a lot of different things for code enforcement. She is a great asset. The people out in the field, without her in the office taking care of a lot of things, they would have a very difficult time and would not be able to do the work they do. So we definitely appreciate Jan, and we are glad she is with us.
Jumping up a decade to 15 years, Sergeant Peterson. Anything to say about him?
I got a couple things here. Sergeant Peterson, he's been with us for over 15 years. He started out as an officer. He's done quite a few things in his time here. He was an officer. He filled in doing some code enforcement work in the beginning. Shortly after that, he moved along to detectives. He spent a great deal of time in detectives, working all kinds of cases for a long period of time. I think if you talk to anybody in the law enforcement field in Lake County or the DA's office, he is one of the better detectives they've ever seen. Luckily for us, he's stayed here, and a couple years ago, almost 3 years ago, he promoted to sergeant. He's done a lot of great things for the community, and we are definitely glad to have him working with us.
Now, this gentleman probably doesn't need much of an introduction. We're working, and we congratulate you for 20 years of service, City of Clearlake, Martin Snyder, Lieutenant Martin Snyder.
Hang on. Another one, Lieutenant Snyder, he's been with us for a long time. He, like Sergeant Peterson, he started out as an officer. He's gone through various assignments. He was an officer on patrol, was a net field training officer on patrol, worked his way into detectives, spent a long time in there. Also, like Detective Peterson, was a top-notch detective and helped out solve a lot of cases, did a lot of good work in there. He promoted from detectives, became a patrol sergeant, did years in that position, and then went back to detectives as the detective sergeant. And then after doing that for a while, he promoted to lieutenant. And we are definitely glad he is working with us and on our team. So, thank you.
So thank you all for being here. Good to see all the patrolmen here to support your staff and their volunteers. Do you want a photo op? I think we need a photo op. Let's bring everybody up. Come on up. We're going to take about a 5-minute break. Let's do some pictures. This is a big deal. We like to recognize our staff and volunteers. So let's take that time to recognize them. Thanks for all your service. Did I break it? Bro. Dang it, too far. All right, if I could get my friends from the Lake Family Resource, we're going to call it back to order. Thanks, Lisa. Next, we would like to read and recognize Human Trafficking Awareness Month for January 2023.
Are you ready for us to come up?
With this proclamation. Sure, come on up. I was going to read it from here.
Oh, you're going to read it from there?
Yeah, but come on up. And then I'll join you down there in a second.
Sounds good.
And if you want to stand on this side, the camera and everybody in TV land can see you from that camera over there.
Back up. I'm sorry. This way.
It's okay, we should have done a dress rehearsal, Lisa. It's all right. All right. Human Trafficking Awareness Month, January 2023. Whereas human trafficking is a serious crime that affects people of all races, age, and gender, and whereas human trafficking is a borderless crime against individuals that violates the most basic human rights and deprives victims of human dignity, denies freedom to 32 million people around the world. And whereas human trafficking is the fastest growing criminal industry globally. And whereas California ranks third among the states in the number of potential reports of human trafficking. And whereas a serious form of human trafficking involves the exploitation of children and youth for commercial sex acts, it is imperative that our young people and their families learn how to recognize risks, to resist predators who use coercion and threats to manipulate children and young adults into sex and labor trafficking. And whereas Lake County Family Resource Center is instrumental in leading the way in the County of Lake in addressing human trafficking by providing 24-hour hotline services and continuing support, advocacy, and accompaniment to survivors. And whereas human trafficking in Lake County includes active public and private efforts to help recognize and acknowledge the existence, and it is time for all of us to start conversations, take appropriate action, and support one another to create a safer environment for all residents. And whereas many organizations such as the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office, Lakeport Police Department, and the Clearlake Police Department, along with Lake County Family Resource Center, are committed to ending human trafficking in Lake County and provide essential crisis intervention and prevention services to all members of our community. And therefore, be it proclaimed that the month of January 2023 is designated as Human Traffic Awareness Month in the city of Clearlake, and our community is urged to support the efforts of the agencies assisting victims of human trafficking, and urges all local governments, schools, businesses, and community members to be aware and report any suspicious activity to local police departments and shine the light on human trafficking. Thank you. Chief Law Enforcement Officer. I ask Chief Hobbs to come down. Lisa, can I present that to you?
You absolutely may. Thank you.
And the mic is yours.
Actually, these are the ones who actually do the work. Yeah. So let them do their thing. So thank you. So, hello everyone. So my name is Blanca, and I'm the Human Trafficking and Family Advocate for Lake Family Resource Center. I'm just going to go over the Human Trafficking Awareness Month agenda. So starting January 1st, we already have our banners up. We have one in Lakeport Boulevard, and the other one's it's in our Kelseyville office. And then we have, we have another Board of Supervisor proclamation in Lakeport at 9. And then January 11th, it's our National Human Trafficking Awareness Day. We partner in Blue, so we supporting the survivors for human trafficking. So we wear blue that day. Also on the 17th, we have City of Lakeport proclamation at 6. And then on the 19th, we have a radio show, 88.1 at 2 p.m. And on the 25th, we have a CHP training with IRC. And then we also have a trafficking magnets that were provided to the law enforcement in Lake County. So that way they can support our Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Also, we are doing the coffee sleeves. We partnership with Overflow in Kelseyville and Jitterbean in Lakeport. So you can stop by and support us. Thank you. And then since our grant started in 2020-21, we have served 36 clients and completed over 2,700 services for Lake, with Lake Family Resource Center. No, thank you for having us here. Thank you.
I believe Chief Hobbs would like to say a few words about human trafficking.
Just want to thank you all for coming tonight and for the work that you guys do on a day-to-day basis to help with the human trafficking in our area and throughout the region. It's definitely very important work, and the victims that are out there that get services through you, it's very instrumental to them, their families, everyone, the help you guys give them, or potential victims that know they have a resource they can get a hold of to get help. So we, the police department, we definitely appreciate the work you guys do, and we enjoy working with you, partnering with you guys to help make this a better, safer community for all victims.
Thank you all very much. So line your team up.
Take this
Lisa.
mountain. I'm wearing your goodness.
You're the best.
I know, I try. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I guess let's stay up here.
Yeah,
In the background though.
come on. Come take a picture. Come on.
Squeeze in.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have some program cards and business cards out on the table. Should
On
we
the
use-
table? Perfect, thank you. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Closing presentations portion and coming into our public comment. This. Do I? I went right past, oh, I did. Tina, I am so sorry. We have one more presentation. We're going to get an update on our recreation and events calendar from our Director of Recreation.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, council members. Thank you for having me tonight. Can I take this off? Oh, I'll just do it this way. Okay, so this is the second quarter presentation, all the way leading up till December for the recreation and events. So I reviewed the roadmap that we originally presented in trying to get this department adopted. So I reviewed the milestones, and these evaluate the events and programs for 23 and 24, sponsorship and grant opportunities, fundraiser opportunities, and partnering organizations and additional email blasts. Part of the milestones was implementing new events, which we had the Circus Royale, we had Movies in the Park, Trunk or Treat, which was a collaboration with Joyce and Highland Senior Service Center. We had Breakfast with Santa, and we had the Christmas Parade. Sponsorships and grants. I'm continuously meeting with potential new sponsors and actively researching potential new grants that could help enhance our department. We're creating fundraiser opportunities. One is going to be a comedy night, tentatively April 29th, and a cornhole event in May, but I don't have a set date yet. Partnering organizations, we've continued with the Clearlake Chamber, KUSD, and most recently, the Lake County Wine Alliance. There are others, but these are the ones I've recently had more conversations with. So this, I wanted to show you that we have started generating positive income. So the circus, which cost no money to the city, brought us in $1,755. Movies in the Park, we did bring in $222, and Breakfast with Santa was $772.88. So for 6 months, and we've generated this, it shows that, you know, in time, we can create a whole lot more with little events like this. Partnerships. The Clearlake Chamber of Commerce, continued meetings with KUSD, Highlands Senior Service Center, the Redbud Library, Blue Zones, and our Lake County church community.
And KUSD is the Canocta Unified School District?
Correct, correct. So I just wanted to show some photos. These were our 3 movie events. There's some people here, even when it was winding and we couldn't keep the, keep the screen up, people still decided to stay. So I'm really excited about this one. It's our youth center. As you can see, we have a blank slate. We are in the process of slowly getting some remodeling done, and in time, we'll be able to present all of that to you and show you the progress that we're making on that. So we have more to come in '23. We have the youth center remodel, the summer camps and programs. We're going to enhance programs at the senior center, create a more diverse and all-inclusive events and programs. We are in the process of becoming a Blue Zone employer. I've had several meetings with Blue Zones, and we're working through our checklist. So I can probably update more on that in the next quarter. Positive revenue. I'm part of the countywide Recreation, Parks, and Trails Committee. So we'll get Clearlake in the ears and eyes of other people around the county. We are in the process of signing a contract with Rent Fund Kiosks. So we're going to have kayaks in a kiosk locker booth across the street. And Junior Giants.
Yes.
We are bringing Junior Giants back. So I start my meetings with them next week, I believe, and then in February I go to San Francisco for the day to Oracle Stadium, and I actually get to learn about the program.
Oh, how rough is that?
Ordered our uniforms.
Can you get tickets?
I don't know, but I need coaches, so just saying. Yeah. I think that's it. Oh, so here's some pictures of our Breakfast with Santa. And I just want to point out that Ryan Peterson created and built that chair with his own 2 hands, and it's gorgeous. So that's that. This is just a couple pictures from the parade, and this is the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I've been busy.
I have a question.
Are you looking for more suggestions?
I'm always open to suggestions.
Okay. How about a New Year's Day plunge in the lake?
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Yeah. That'll be
The
well
polar plunge.
attended.
He
We could
did
do
it.
We could do a polar plunge, but you're going in first.
Absolutely.
He does it every year for how many years?
Really?
20 years or so.
20 years.
Okay.
After Ford defining.
So the bunny brunch, I have it on our calendar. That's in April. I want to say it's I have to let you know, but it's on my calendar. We are going to do it. I've already ordered the bunny suit and the Easter eggs and all of that kind of stuff. So we're working on all that.
Councilmember Kramer has a question.
Yes,
How
sir.
about the soapbox derby?
Our soapbox derby, I believe, is going to be the first weekend in May, and I'm trying to get with KUSD to go to the principals meeting again, so we can start working towards getting the schools more involved as well. They've already said they would, but I just want to confirm and start working towards that as well.
Very good. I had a question on the fundraising that you've done. Is that through sponsorships those dollars?
Well, so the movies in the park, that was paid for by sponsorships. And then, so we did make some money off of that, or from that. And then we're going to do a comedy night in April, and sell alcohol and adults only and kind of thing.
So ticket sales will be the revenue?
Ticket sales, yeah, that'll be the revenue. And all of that money goes right back into creating more programs. And,
And how do people find out about these events?
well, we're going to post on Facebook and flyers and,
So they should check the city
Everywhere.
website and
yeah.
social media?
I'll drive around the lake and put up flyers if it's doable.
We're gonna create like an event thing on our website to be able to post all of the city.
I'd like to. I know Melissa and I have also looked into other programs, which we haven't made a decision or even if we're going to go that route. But I am actively taking suggestions or anything anybody feels is going to be helpful so that we can get the word out even better.
Good, good. Lieutenant, or Chief Hobbs, did you happen to buy the soapbox derby car from Chief White before he left? Because we might need to adjust the seat so you can fit in it.
Actually, I told him that he needed to come back and race.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, very good.
Well, then you better hurry up with your
You need to build a car.
compete against Pat.
Thank you, Tina.
Okay.
Administrator.
Any other
Anything
questions?
else?
Of course, then we got Mr. Flora, who I'm sure will be there to compete.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Tina.
Thanks, Tina.
Okay, now, we'll move on to public comment. This is a time for any member of the public to address the city council on any member that is not on the agenda or subject to the jurisdiction of the city. Under the Brown Act, there's certain things that we can and cannot do. We cannot address or answer questions, but you are welcome to present your ideas and thoughts to us for any non-agenda item. Please refrain, keep your comments to 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody who would like to speak? Apparently Thomas would like to speak.
Thomas would like to speak. Joyce, we can't hear you. I just want to
Your mic's
compliment
off.
and say what a great job our Public Works Department is doing. They have just been Johnny on the spot all over the city. I wish I had a camera with me yesterday. I was actually over to rescue a friend who needed to set up their generator, live on Green Street. That tree literally sheared that pole completely off. And by the time I got there, got my friend's generator, getting it set up, I turned around and Robert Viramontes had his crew, and they had that tree just the road was ready to be opened, even though they couldn't open the road. But as I turned the scanner on that night, because a disaster happened at my house, fences come down, tree limbs on roofs, you can imagine everyone I'm sure has been going through it with this storm. Just call after call after call, Public Works, Public Works, Public Works. These guys are just running ragged. Way to go, city.
Thomas, thank you for addressing that and bringing it to our attention. Thank you.
Nobody saw me. All right, thank you.
Anyone else like to make a public comment? Madam Clerk, anyone on Zoom?
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. So I'll close our time for public comment and bring us to the consent agenda. Would anyone like to pull an item, or are there any changes to the consent agenda?
I'd like to pull item number 5.
Very good. Any other requests? If not, could I have a motion?
I move that we approve the consent agenda minus item number. I move that we approve the consent agenda minus item number 5.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Slotin and a second by Councilmember Overton. All those in favor?
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
Very good. Councilmember Slotin, did you want to?
Yeah, I want to
Announce
give
this.
our supervisor, Bruno Chabatier, to make some comments on this particular item. I know that the skate park is a project that he's been involved in for a long, long time, and
Absolutely.
he wants to address the council on this item.
As a point of order, Mr. Flora, do you have anything to present on the skate park issue?
Unless you have any questions from the staff report, we have been coordinating with Supervisor Sabatier on this for a little while. We did an RFP for design services. We're excited about the firm that's proposed here. And at this point, it's pretty much all being funded by the generosity of Supervisor Sabatier and using his allocation of county cannabis tax funds. So I know this is something that he's passionate about, and so appreciate his continued partnership in this.
Supervisor Sabatier. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor. Hello, hello. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'm really happy to see this on your agenda today. A while back, maybe 2 years ago, we decided to have discretionary funds coming from cannabis taxes to each district supervisor. There's $100,000 per year that we get to spend with approval from the board when above $25,000. And I believe you should have received a letter of intent. The Board of Supervisors is well aware of the intent to build a skate park. It's a little difficult to spend county money within a city without some reason of a regional draw. And I think the skate park has that, a regional draw. My hopes and desires is to make an attraction that outside of the county, not just around the county, will attract people into our communities. We just saw skateboarding go into the Olympics. Skateboarding, biking is absolutely a huge activity here for our youth. I believe that the skate park is one of the most overutilized facilities that you have in the city for our youth. But I also know the burden that the skate park creates for you because of the type of skate park that it is currently. You continuously have to repair it. You continuously have to deal with sometimes vandalism, but the vandalism is easier because of the type of material that it is. In Kelseyville, they built a concrete skate park, I believe in 2017. We have spent $0 on maintenance because there is no need for maintenance on that park for at least the 5 years that it's been in existence. And I believe that the same thing will happen here. It will take away the need to repair and always keep an eye on the park like you have to right now. And I hope that we create a wonderful facility. At this moment in time, I have $300,000 in my account. In July, I will have another $100,000. I have not spent a penny yet because my intention was to provide this and see what else would be needed and how we move forward. So at this moment in time, it does cover the entire cost of the design, and we'll see what the cost of the construction is. I know I have spoken with staff to look into some grant funding. We have taken a look at some of those things. I know that Ms. Veramontes has been helpful with that. And I do want to thank staff and your new Public Works Director, Adeline Leba. I think I said the right last name. I know that I wanted to do a whole lot of work. I wanted to do the RFP, but I know that she created it for staff and for us, made the right process happen, and now you have that right before you for consideration. So if you have any questions, I'm here, but I'm really excited about today.
Any questions for Supervisor Sabatier?
Mr. Mayor, just
Yes.
another couple of quick updates. So we have the letter of intent that the board signed. We are finalizing an actual MOU between the county and the city, which the supervisor is planning to take to the board, I think, in early February for approval.
January 24th, to be specific.
All right. And then once that's done, we'll bring it back to the council and that'll outline them actually using the funds for this project and whatnot. But anyway, thanks again to Supervisor Sabatier.
Don't step away, Bruno. When I served on the planning commission years and years ago, a group of young people came to us and wanted to put a skate park together, and they raised the funds and did it all themselves. Their families were very supportive, and they did a really good job of policing and taking care and maintaining that. But over the years, as you know, that's kind of been something we really wanted to have for the kids, but we didn't have the funding to do it. So really want to thank you for stepping up and saving that money and making it go for something perfect for our community.
I do have one request that I did ask of the city is we don't change the name of the park. Andy
Yes.
Johnson means a lot to this community.
That's why I wanted to make sure we mentioned that.
And if we can remain with the Andy Johnson name for that park, I think that would be amazing to continue that legacy because he is one of the folks who approached the city
He
to
was the
create
leader.
it. Yes.
They got it going. Councilmember Kramer.
Just a point of clarification, are you going to also be putting the 43.5 up? Did I understand that correctly, or is the city going to
I will take care of the
take care of that? So, okay. It makes it even better.
We do have a small amount of money that had been set aside for this project, so it's enough to cover the design costs at this point. We wanted to go ahead and move forward with the design contract, and then, we'll see how the construction costs come in and whether we need to identify other funding. But as he mentioned, there is a grant that we think would be a great fit for this project where we might be able to get another 100,000 or so. So we plan to pursue that.
I visited the park in Kelseyville, also one in Fort Bragg. Both are very nice, so this is exciting.
And
A big improvement.
just to provide one other detail, may be important if you get questions from your constituents, is the design proposal does include an initial workshop with, the kind of skating community to get input from them. I think then do the design work and then present that back to the public. So it's not just us coming up with the design, and
Right.
but they will be involved with this. So.
Good point. Any other questions or comments?
Just thank you for doing this, Bruno. Thank you.
Joyce?
Well, you know how I felt. I think this has been a passion of both of ours to make this happen. So thank you for being the supervisor that can make that happen. This is, how big is this going to be? Do we have an idea of the space this is going to?
Same location.
Same
as
footprint.
Just exactly like it is right now, just
Well,
with
I
the
mean, the
cement.
footprint would be the same,
so-
and it would be concrete above ground, yeah.
Okay. But thank you. I mean, I think this is like one of the things that probably most of the people in our community have been wanting for a long time. We raised the money to get it back open, and so to see something like this come into our community is, I think it's going to be a really good thing for our kids. We're really bucking up here to make sure that these kids have activities, and I think that's so important for us. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Mayor,
Mr. Kramer?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract with American Ramp Company in the amount of $43,500.
I'll second. No, go ahead.
I have a motion by Councilmember Kramer and a second by Vice Mayor Claffey. All those in favor? Aye.
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next, we'll open the public hearing. Item number 8, consideration of the second reading for acceptance and implementation of the 2022 California Building Standards Codes, CBSC, and adopting by reference the 2021 Uniform Swimming Pool Spa Hot Tub Codes, the 2021 Uniform Solar, Hydroponics, and Geothermal Codes, and the 2021 International Building Codes, 2021 International Residential Codes, and the 2021 International Fire Codes. Mr. Flora, do you have a report?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, council members. So you had the first reading of this ordinance. So this process that's outlined in state law is a little bit different than our normal ordinance. So It was on the consent calendar for the first reading, and then the second reading is a public hearing, and then it'll go into effect after that if passed. So this happens every few years, as you know. There's a requirement of local jurisdictions to approve the updated codes. There's, as you would expect, a number of changes related to that. I guess I did want to point out, because I got some questions from council members, that there's a few sections of the code that primarily are sort of under the umbrella of attempting to address greenhouse gas emissions, which are focused on really electric appliances. And so some jurisdictions across the state are now requiring that new builds have all electric appliances in them. The code does not require that, but it does require new construction have hookups so that natural gas or propane appliances can be converted to electric. It also requires hookups for batteries and so forth. There were some questions about whether the city is required to adopt all sections of the code, or there was some flexibility related to that. And I'll have the city attorney address any specifics on that, but generally speaking, the answer is you don't have to adopt all the sections. In fact, you don't have to adopt this at all, but it's still state law and it's still required to be enforced in our jurisdiction.
So whether we adopt
So
it
there
or
really
not.
isn't any flexibility in sort of picking and choosing which sections of the code you would like to adopt.
So why bother?
So with that, that's kind of the report, and Mr. Jones is prepared to address any questions you may have related to that.
Any questions? I'd like to open this for public comment. Any public comment on this item? Anyone on Zoom?
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Bring it back to council.
I move to adopt resolution CC 2022-69, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Clearlake approving the acceptance and implementation as described in ordinance number 267-2023.
I'll second.
A motion by Councilmember Slotin and a second by Councilmember Overton. All in favor?
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on to item number 9. Consideration of a resolution 2023-03 authorizing the extension of the temporary closure of certain roads to reduce illegal dumping and to protect the environment and the public health and welfare. Mr. Flora.
Public Works Director Leyba will present the staff report on this one.
Thank you. Madam Director.
Good evening. In July of 2020, the City Council held a public hearing and authorized the closure of certain roads to prevent illegal dumping and other illegal activities. Subsequent to this action, the city purchased thousands of feet of K-rail, construction barrier, gates, and other materials to physically block off the area. While this initially effective work has been required to strengthen the physical barriers a few times, staff does believe that the operation has been undoubtedly effective in controlling illegal dumping in the area and that an extension is warranted. The California Vehicle Code requires a public hearing be conducted every 18 months to extend the closure. This impacted area impacted area under this closure is Burns Valley Road from Arrowhead Drive to Acacia Street, which was originally closed by the action of the council in July of 2021. This is the similar action taken close to the Gobi area to deter illegal dumping and other activity. Staff recommends to adopt Resolution 2023-03.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll open this up for public comment. Oh, go ahead, Councilmember Claffey, or Vice Mayor.
Also, sorry. So it wasn't this particular area, but last time we discussed closing off a large area. The council asked that a policy be put in place so that residents can access their property? Have you had a chance to think through that and come back with anything?
We really haven't, and we still haven't closed that area off, just because of, we haven't been able to channel our resources on that project, quite yet, so no, we haven't, but.
But there is a plan in the future? to
We
address
have
that?
we have the plan, you know, as far as where everything's gonna go, it's just, we've been pulled in a lot of directions, and, you know, it is a big area to close down, and we just haven't been able to get it all scheduled. I'm really hoping that, you know, if we had a milder winter, we might be doing it right now, but, hopefully in the spring we can get it done.
Thank you for your comments. Any other questions? I'll open up for public comment. Seeing none in the chamber, is there any on Zoom?
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Bring it back to council for action.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2023-03, read by title only, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Clearlake authorizing the extension of the temporary closure of certain roads to reduce illegal dumping and to protect the environment and the public health and welfare.
Second?
A motion by Councilmember Kramer and a second by Vice Mayor Claffey. All those in favor? Aye.
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
Thank you. Moving on, closing the public hearing and moving on to business, item 10, consideration of employee services agreement with Timothy Hobbs as police chief. Mr. Flora.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, council members, so I'm pleased to propose an employment agreement for the council's review and approval for Acting Chief Hobbs to be our permanent chief of police. This agreement has a initial term of 3 years, base annual salary of just over $155,000, which is a 10% increase over Mr. Hobbs' current salary. There's an additional 5% incentive for completion of his bachelor's degree, a 5% incentive for completion of his executive post certificate, and then basically other benefits consistent with the management benefits plan. So with that, I'm hopeful that the council will approve this agreement with Mr. Hobbs as the police chief, and then I just wanted to share that we would envision doing a more formal swearing in of Hobbs as our permanent chief later on this month. And I'll be happy to address any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Flora. Any questions by council? Seeing none, I'll open it up. Any comments? Have a thumbs up? Speak now or forever hold your peace, Lieutenant. Any comments on Zoom?
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
I want to make a motion to approve the employment service agreements for police chief with Timothy Hobbs.
I'll second that motion.
People fighting over a second. Have a motion by Councilmember Slutin and seconds by Councilmember Overton and Kramer. All those in favor?
It's official.
Motion passes.
Congratulations.
Tim.
Now you're in trouble.
Make sure we have his phone number.
Yeah. Make sure we get those
Change
texts.
it now while you can. Did you hear that? Make sure we have your phone number. I said change it now while you can.
All right. Congratulations, Chief.
Back with this now.
All right. Moving on to item number 11, the 2023 mayoral appointments. I made no changes, but I did want to open it up to each of you if you had any recommendations or modifications to your assignments. Now is the time, and I wanted to do it publicly in case anybody had any questions. Anybody have questions? All right. Any questions from the public? Supervisor? Madam Clerk, anybody on Zoom?
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Bring it back for action.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2022 mayor's appointments as presented.
Second?
Can I amend that to the 2023 mayoral appointments?
Excuse me. It says 2022 here, and I just read it.
No problem. Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Second by Council, or Vice Mayor Claffey. All in favor? Thank you. All right, and then item number 12. Oh, sorry,
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
got ahead of myself, I apologize. Item 12, consideration of appointing council members as representatives to the Cal Cities Redwood Empire Division, resolution number 2023-01. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Clearlake appointing representatives to replace and vote on behalf of the city at the Cal Cities Redwood Empire Division business meetings and represent the city and vote at the Division Legislative Committee meetings. Councilmember Overton, are you still
I'll do
able
it.
to attend?
Yeah, yeah.
And I believe Councilmember Kramer was our alternate.
That we had talked.
But I always leave it up to the choice if somebody else wants to do it, because I have been doing it.
That's why I'd like to have this conversation, so
I have been doing it
now
for
is
a
the
long
time.
I have been doing it for a long time, so if somebody else wants to be the main person, I am okay with that, so. If not, I'll stay there.
All right, do we have
Nobody wants it.
do we have anybody vying, Rochambeau for the alternate?
I'm happy to be an alternate.
That's fine.
It is an important position. I think this League of Cities does a lot, and we like to be supportive of them. So this is an important.
I would like to see our city council, even though it's just one person that's actually appointed for voting when we go to the things, we're all should be going to the regional meetings. I would like to see more council members involved in that.
I had served when I was first elected, and it is a good responsibility to have. And they do listen to your input, and it does make a difference at the state level.
Yeah, I
Mr.
would say,
Flora.
I think if our council was a little bit more active in there, it would probably help if you're interested in serving other positions in the league as well.
Within the
to
league.
Develop those relationships.
I'm sure Sarah would
I'd
really
be
like
happy
that.
to serve on any committee if
It's-
that's necessary.
Yeah, I mean, it really is an honor to and it's very
It is.
exciting. I mean, I sat on the board, the state board part, and, and sat on a lot of the committees at the, like the first 8 or 9 years that I was on the city council. And it is very interesting to work with them and to work with the legislators on laws and things like that. So, I mean, it is.
I agree.
It is a really nice
I got to sit
thing
on the
be-
Public Safety
Yeah, you feel-
Committee.
Yeah, you feel involved in it. You feel like you have like you're making a difference, and then when those laws that you worked on and things that you did go through, you kind of say, oh, I did that, It makes you feel like you did something for our community. So I really think that we all should get more involved in it. I kind of backed off the last couple of years that I want to get more involved in it, and it would be nice if we all did.
Okay, so you're going to step up now, and you're going
Up now.
to walk the walk.
I'm going to walk the walk.
So,
I enjoyed my time on it as alternate, sitting in every once in a while, when Councilwoman Overton wasn't there, but I would be happy to step aside and let you be the alternate. Vice Mayor Claffey, I think it'd be good training for you based on where you're at right now and where we're going.
Very good. Councilmember Slotin, you have something to say?
Yeah, I see there's division business meeting, primary and alternate, and also the legislative committee, primary and alternate. So is that the two positions going to be filled by the same person? Is that what it is?
Well, normally when it comes to the,
Normally it is.
yeah,
Okay,
so.
just a question, that's all.
Normally it is, but I agree with Councilmember Overton that, and our city manager, that we need to be more involved because we do make changes.
Well, so I joined the policy committee, and they were supposed to meet today. They were supposed to have their introductory meeting, but it was canceled due to weather. So there's probably still an opportunity to get involved in one of the committees.
Good.
They're always looking for somebody on the financial committee, like always.
All right, anybody willing to make a motion? Are there any comments here in the chamber or on Zoom?
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Bring it back for action.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion that we accept resolution number 202301, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Clearlake appointing representatives to represent and vote on behalf of the city at the Cal Cities Redwood Empire Division business meetings and represent the city and vote at the division legislation committees, accepting me as the main and Vice Mayor Clappy as the alternate.
I'll second that.
A motion by Councilmember Overton and a second by Councilmember Slotin. All those in favor? As soon as it opens. Aye.
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
Thank you. Okay. City manager and council member reports, but we do have an item 13. Would you like to take that, Mr. Flora?
Which one's that?
Measure V Oversight Committee. We needed a couple of appointments made.
Well, I can give a brief introduction. So as the council may recall, this is unique in that each council member just selects their appointment to serve on that committee. So with the new term for Councilmember Slotin and Councilmember Kramer, they need to reappoint their folks. My understanding from both of them is they would like to reappoint their existing appointees, which is Supervisor Sabatier and Ms. Allman. So if that's incorrect, I'm sure that they will.
Yes, I would like to see Mr. Sabatier continue on that Measure V Oversight Committee.
And I'd like to see Ms. Alman also continue on the Oversight Committee.
Very good. Are you okay with that, Supervisor Sabatier? Another thumbs up? We're good. We're moving along.
So I'm not sure, I'm looking to Ms. Swanson, do we need any type of motion or action on that? We just need them to say who they want and that's it?
That's correct, and I have applications from both individuals.
Good.
So, and it is an individual appointment by the council member.
All right. Very good. Mr. City Manager, do you have a report?
A couple of things. So we also have two planning commissioner terms that are expiring in March. That's our chair, Lisa Wilson, and Aaron McCarrick. Unfortunately, Ms. Wilson has indicated that she is interested in serving another term due to other commitments. We haven't gotten a firm indication either way from Ms. McCarrick. I talked to her this morning and she's still trying to decide. But because we're going to have at least one vacancy, I talked to Ms. Swanson and we're going to go ahead and follow the normal process, which is go ahead and open up applications. We'll go ahead and do that early. Sometimes it's a struggle to get applicants. I just wanted to let you know that. And if you have anyone that you think might be interested, now's the time to start twisting some arms and seeing what we can get. So, as you know, we've had a bit of unusual weather lately. I think overall the city has fared quite well. As you know, there has been some localized flooding. We have had a few power outages, trees down and so forth. Really proud of both our police department, public works, and all they've done to, get out there and solve issues. Public works is, they always do their best to prepare for winter early, but even on Tuesday before the rain really started, they're just constantly driving around, trying to identify any issues that may come up, and they were all pretty soggy by the time the day was over. But we've got a bit of respite today, but we've been having daily briefings with County OES, and the National Weather Service is expecting starting tomorrow sometime through, well, I guess mainly Saturday through Tuesday, 6 to 8 more inches of rain in our area. They're not expecting the wind to really be as much of an issue. But everything is saturated, so we're going to have more localized flooding and whatnot. Just before the meeting started, I checked Lake County still has about 2,000 customers out of power, somewhere around 150, 200 in the city, both PG, for some reason PG&E's mapping and Cal OES's mapping on what's out aren't matching up, so I'm not sure what's actually true, but it was pretty phenomenal to see the number of small outages across the Bay Area, and particularly the North Coast. Last night and this morning, there were around 200,000 customers, which is, roughly 500,000 people out of power. Just before the meeting, they have gotten that down to about 90,000 customers. But my expectation is with all these smaller outages, it's going to take them more time than normal to repair some of this, just because individual trees on small sections of the line, I think, is the problem. There was some information put out by the county, and I jotted the number down in my office and I forgot to bring it in here, but PG&E said this is a bit unusual, but I think because of the number of small outages, they're having a little bit of a problem doing an assessment and making sure that they get all the customers that are out. And so they're really encouraging everyone to call their hotline and report if they have any type of outage on their property to make sure that they get them. And so I know the county, I think, put out a press release on that and some stuff on social media. So we'll try to make sure that that's shared on our pages if we haven't as well. But if you hear from anyone, encourage them to do so. Just a couple other quick things on that. I wanted to share with the council that I really do appreciate there's been a marked change in communication coming from the county, in particular CAO Parker, and just sharing county information with us that always hasn't been the case during emergencies. So that's much appreciated. And then I wanted you all to know that Congressman Thompson reached out this afternoon and wanted to make sure that if there's anything the city needs to let them know.
Funding.
And then I guess just the final thing is our next meeting is on the 19th. A few of you are planning to be at the Cal City's new council members and mayor's conference. And there was some question about whether we were going to have the meeting or not. We have to have another meeting in January because there's some business items that have to be done before the end of the month. So I know 2 of you have signed up. There may be interest in at least one other council member in signing up. I don't know if that's possible because registrations have closed. However, we need to know it's either we're going to have at least a quorum here, or Zooming in is still an option, or we're going to have to call a special meeting sometime before the end of the month so that we can conclude
A
our business.
special meeting like that week before they leave, like on a Tuesday or something like that.
When do you guys leave?
Like it starts the 17th, right? 18th, 19th. So we can do the 17th, or
We could Zoom. Well, how many do you need to have in the chamber? 3?
Well, it does. I don't think it matters. We just have to have 3 participate, right? Do we have to have a quorum here?
Under the new, after February, you have to have a quorum here, but it is still in January. I think you're under AB 361. You could. You don't have to have a quorum present.
or
You guys want to zoom in?
or you can do it on a Tuesday, the 17th.
Do you have any idea the length of the agenda?
Well, I mean, we can keep it to mostly to the items that are critical, but there just are a few things that, I don't know if we can do it in an hour or not, but we can try.
17th does not, or does? Yeah. It works for me. How about you, David? 17th?
In the evening?
Yeah.
At 6?
But we do have, the South Shore Little League has reserved the chambers for one of their meetings. We might be able to see if we could adjust that, but
Or can we do it the week later?
5:30.
Can we do it on the 26th? Is that too late?
Or can we just do the meeting?
Can we do it a little bit earlier in the day?
A
Say
special
4
meeting.
Well, I
p.m.
think we could do the 26th, right, Ms. Swanson? I mean, the items I'm aware of just need to be done before the end of the month.
'Cause
Or you guys
we'll be
could zoom
back.
in, or they could
26 works also.
Yeah, I mean,
Either way, I'm fine zooming in. In fact, I was even thinking I could make a trip back, have the meeting, and then go back to SAC.
Depending on weather, yeah.
Yeah, depending on weather.
Just zoom in. I mean, if it's okay to zoom in, why don't you guys just zoom in?
Yeah, if it's before February, we can zoom in.
It's actually the end of February too.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay, is
Mr.
everyone
Jones.
okay with just sticking with it and everyone
stick
okay
with
with
it.
zooming in?
I'm okay with it. I don't
I'm
have to
fine
zoom
with
in.
We'll zoom in.
Sounds good.
This chair seems to work pretty good. Somebody can borrow it.
It's been upgraded.
It's been upgraded.
That's my
like that.
report.
What?
Thank you.
Wait a second. Did he say the chairs have been
The
updated?
chairs have been upgraded.
All of them?
How's yours sinking?
Not now. It was low when I got here. however.
Mr. Flora, you're a miracle man. Yeah, this should have been an agenda item.
Just really somebody fixing it, that's all.
Yeah. Thank God you
He's
did.
tired of hearing it.
Thank you, Mr. Flora. Anything else?
Thank you Supervisor Sabatier, who's always paying attention. The phone number, if someone wants to contact PG&E about a line down, is 1-800-743-5002.
They can go online to PGE, and it takes you right to it, and very simple.
Thank you all. All right, Councilmember Overton, anything to share?
I want to say that, that our Assemblywoman's office reached out to me on our, to make sure that we are aware that they're there for us too, on anything that we may need to just contact them, and they'll help us out in the way that they can. And no, outside of that, I just hope everybody had a good holiday and stay dry and safe and.
How was your New Year's Eve event?
It was good, it was good. And I hope people get online and see what we could do with that building. That was really one of my main things, is so that people can see that that building can be used and decorated, and really make it elegant, like weddings and stuff. So I really think we need to like market that building more to try to get it rented out more. And so as we get our renovations sometime this year done, should have a really nice kitchen, and, you know, and everything should look nice. So I'm kind of trying to get people to see what we can do with that building.
Okay.
So, but our event went really well, and I really thank everybody who came. We had a lot of fun, you know,
you.
so thank you guys.
Mr. Slooten?
I really don't have anything new to report, but thank
Very
you.
good.
Christmas and New Year's just went without any issues. So,
Not too many meetings. Mr. Kramer?
I didn't have any meetings to go to, so I have nothing on that. However, I did have a phone call this morning from Nick Bennett, our former mayor. Wanted to pass on his wishes for a happy new year to all the council, and his congratulations to Chief Hobbs this morning. So
nice.
that's all I have. He's doing well, and it was a balmy -2 there.
He can enjoy all that he
Got
wants.
better him than me.
And he's sitting there telling me he thinks I'd like it there. I was like, I don't think so. It's like-
Mr. Vice Mayor?
So I wasn't able to attend this meeting because I was traveling, but Visit Lake County, I believe, is about to kick off the search for a new executive director. So if you know anyone who is qualified and is marketing savvy, it's a great position and can really make a big impact in the community.
Wow, thanks for the announcement.
Can I say one more thing?
No. Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I forgot about our Christmas dinner since we haven't had a thing. We served almost the same as what we did for Thanksgiving. We had 176 that we served on Christmas. We did it on Christmas Eve, which I normally don't have as big a group, but that just shows me that people really are, you know, needing a place to go for the holidays. So, you know, I was kind of surprised. We normally serve about 125, so we served almost exactly the same as what we did for Thanksgiving. So I really want to thank the Church of Nazarene, because they're the ones that came down and helped serve. So I really appreciate their help.
Yeah, I don't have much to report. The holidays were good. Thank you all for being here. So, any future agenda items at this time?
I have one, but I wanted to introduce it at some later date.
Future meeting? That sounds good to me. That being said, we're going to close this public meeting, and we will reconvene in 5 minutes for our closed session.